Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be going over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury report for their Week 7 matchup versus the Baltimore Ravens. This video is powered by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, by the way. More about them in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and dive into this injury report. So Graham Barton was limited on Thursday with a hamstring injury. Now, this is interesting because backup center Robert Hainsey did start for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week in the absence of Graham Barton, and they had 277 yards rushing. So you would kind of make the assumption that the Bucs are actually in good hands, even with Graham Barton not being available in last week's game. But of course, you still want the rookie out there. You still want the rookie playing. They drafted him for a reason. I still love the Graham Barton pick, and I hope that he can get back soon. Outside edge rushing linebacker Chris Braswell was limited on Thursday with a shoulder injury. He had actually registered his first, I believe, half sack of his rookie season last week against the Saints as well, so hopefully he can get healthy soon. Also, defensive lineman Ernest Brown IV was still on the injury report, but he was full go with a ribs injury. Ernest Brown IV has been on the injured reserve throughout the early portion of this season. He was activated. He did return to the team's active roster, and it seems like he is getting healthier and healthier as the season progresses. A big one here. Jamel Dean did not participate in Thursday's practice due to a hamstring injury. Now, there's some varying reports out there as to whether or not this is going to be a week-to-week type of injury or where this is going to be an injury that will knock Jamel Dean out for a couple of weeks. You did just see the Bucs promote Keenan Isaac from the practice squad to the active roster. So is that an indication that the Bucs are assuming they're going to be without Jamel Dean here for the next week or two or even longer going forward? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. If there is any official word about the potential long-term health of Jamel Dean, we will talk about that in a separate video. Jamel Dean did suffer this hamstring injury, making a pretty ugly tackle, let's say, in that New Orleans Saints game. I believe against Bub Means was the wide receiver. So there you have that. Payne Durham did not participate in Thursday's practice due to a calf injury. Payne Durham has been the backup tight end for the Bucs throughout this season. If he cannot go, you are going to look to guys like Ko Keefe and Devin Culp to get some more opportunities in the absence of Payne Durham as well. But folks, before we go ahead and continue, I do want to say again, thank you so much to the sponsor of this channel, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, folks. If you guys do use the promo code YouTube150 when you guys do sign up, you get a 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit. Your next two deposits, you get a 125% bonus. All of that is up to $2,000. Again, guys, thanks so much to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Back to the injury report, guys, and this is a big name. Mike Evans did not participate in Thursday's practice. He is dealing with a hamstring injury. It continues the overall problems the Bucs have had at the wide receiver position so far this year in terms of just injuries. Right? There's three other wide receivers on this injury report that we're going to dive into. Now, thankfully, none of them are Chris Godwin, and none of them are Jalen McMillan as well. He is off the injury report. That is good. But right now, in terms of healthy wide receivers, guys who are not on the injury report right now, you have Chris Godwin, and you just got Jalen McMillan back and Sterling Shepard is in there as well. Those are the only three guys. In terms of practice squad, you've got Tanner Canu, who is available. Ryan Miller is available as well. Cody Thompson got placed on the IR in terms of practice squad IR. So Ryan Miller, okay, Tanner Canu. You have also now got Marquez Callaway in there as well. So there are a few options at that wide receiver room if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need to go back down into their practice squad and, bring up a couple of guys. It seems like they might have to, right? It seems like they might have to, especially with Mike Evans dealing with some injuries now. Also, a bit of positive news. Raheem Jarrett's 21-day practice window was opened from him returning from the injured reserve. So maybe there's going to be some reinforcements there. We'll talk about Raheem Jarrett in a little bit. But again, on that practice squad, you've got Marquise Callaway, who was brought in. You've got Tanner Canoe. You've got Ryan Miller in there as well as guys who could possibly be elevated with all of the injuries. I mean, hey, Ryan Miller had like a 40-yard catch last week against the Saints. So I don't know. But Mike Evans not participating, really not a good sign. I've talked about it. He's at 310 yards on the season. A lot of you are worried that he won't hit 1,000 yards this year. We'll have to wait and see. But this is obviously not good on that front either. Will Golston was limited in Thursday's practice with a knee injury. Will Golston has been on the injury report a good bit this year. Knee injury, elbow injury. He's had a lot of different issues this year. Now, thankfully, the Bucs are healthier at defensive line. You've got Kalijah Kancey there, Logan Hall. Both of those guys are completely off the injury report. That's great news. You love to see that. Greg Gaines is off the injury report. This is good, right? That's good things. On the practice squad, you've still got a guy like Mike Green that you could elevate if you absolutely need him to. So it is, the Bucs have got more depth now, right? It's not as vital to have Will Golston out there. He was playing a lot in the early portion of the season, but getting Kalijah Kancey back, getting Logan Hall healthy, all of those different guys, it is CJ Brewer's there, right? CJ Brewer's there and could step in if you need him to. So like you've got some guys, thankfully, but obviously you wish that Will Golston can be healthy. Christian Izien was limited in Thursday's practice with an elbow and groin injury. And this is one of the things that I was talking about in the Jamal Adams video, where the Bucs are banged up still in the defensive back room. Now, look, it is very good. It is very good that you've got Jordan Whitehead off the injury report. He's not on there right now. Winfield is still on the injury report, and now Christian Izien is on there as well. But the Bucs are getting a bit healthier, specifically in their safety room. Cornerback, obviously, you've got Jamel Dean there. That's not a great situation. But in terms of the safety room, look, Kayvon Merriweather is there as a backup if you need him to be a rotational guy. Tyke Smith could possibly play safety. Tavier Thomas is back there as well. The Bucs have some defensive backs who can serve as backups. Maybe not even Tyke Smith, but Kayvon Merriweather, Tavier Thomas, those guys can fill in for that role that Christian Izien has if he cannot go going forward. And of course, your starters, Whitehead is off the injury report. That's great news in there as well. Christian Izien had to start a lot in the early portions of this season because Winfield was dealing with his injuries that he was dealing with, but now he has been hit with the bug as well. That's why I brought up the idea of the Bucs maybe bringing in reinforcements in the form of Jamal Adams. Now we're going to get to the rest of the wide receivers. Raheem Jarrett, limited on Thursday with a knee injury. Now, he is designated to return from the injured reserve, so we'll see about that. That would be a good boost to this wide receiver room, who has 4 wide receivers on this injury report right now. Cameron Johnson did not participate on Thursday with an ankle injury. It's something that he has been dealing with since really like 3 weeks ago. He's been dealing with this injury for almost a month now. Trey Palmer is still in the concussion protocol. He was limited. Trey Palmer's had a couple of concussion issues. He had one right at the end of the preseason, I believe, and then he had one a couple of weeks after the start of the regular season. So he was a limited participant in Thursday's practice as well. The Bucs are very banged up in that wide receiver room. Your number 1 in Mike Evans is on the report. You then have got your number 4 in Trey Palmer, your number 5 in Cameron Johnson, and another backup receiver who hasn't even played this year in Raheem Jarrett as well. So the Bucs are very banged up in that wide receiver room and need just bodies at this point. Rachaad White was limited in Thursday's practice with a foot injury. To be honest, the Bucs might not be as keen to rush him back. Now, Todd Bowles did say that once Rachaad White is healthy, he will likely be that first guy out there, but after that, they're going to ride the hot hand. I think that that's the smart thing to do. I think anybody in that situation would do that. Bucky Irving's playing well. Sean Tucker is playing very well. You've got DJ Williams, who could be elevated from the practice squad to the main roster if you absolutely need him to be. you have some options, man. You have some options in that running back room, guys who are playing well, right? So I don't know if the Bucs will be as keen to rush back Rachaad White. I think that they can be okay with being cautious with him going forward. And finally, Antoine Winfield Jr. was limited in Thursday's practice with a foot injury. Again, something that he's been dealing with throughout the whole season. And it is what it is, right? He did play last week. He had a fumble return for a touchdown. I believe it was like a 60-yard fumble return for a touchdown. That was a great play. A great play. But obviously, the Bucs are going to be cautious with this. They are going to bring him back slowly because he's your best player on your defense, and you want him to be as healthy as he can be throughout the year. So the Bucs are certainly going to do that. On the practice squad, by the way, Marcus Banks is still back there at safety, as is Rashad Wisdom. A couple of backup guys that you could elevate if you need them to. Also, the Bucs did just sign Dallas Flowers to their practice squad at cornerback. So another cornerback option in case Jamel Dean can't go. But folks, that's it. That's it for this injury report so far up to this point. The more negative ones are obviously Jamel Dean and Mike Evans. Those ones are very much ones to pay attention to. And we'll have to wait and see how the Buccaneers can adapt and overcome this admittedly pretty long list of injuries, right? And hopefully guys can get healthier going soon. I do think it is encouraging that only 4 guys that I mentioned did not participate in Thursday's practice. However, 2 of them, one is your starting cornerback, your cornerback 1, and one is your wide receiver 1. Not great. So we'll see, folks. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about all this down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. Shout out one more time to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring this video. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.